All right, my friends, welcome back to the Wealth Outside of Wall Street YouTube channel, where you, no matter where you're starting from, learn to take control over your money, which starts by getting it off of Wall Street and then doing the unthinkable, achieving financial freedom in 10 years or less. Now, this is a big, bold, audacious challenge that you, no matter where you're starting from, can achieve financial freedom in 10 years or less. And I think one of the biggest limiting beliefs I hear from people who interact with me about money and the idea of financial freedom is this: I can't do that because... Right? Whatever your story is, I'm going to record a two-part video series for you today to help you see that no matter where you're starting from, it is absolutely possible. This video is titled How I Would Build Wealth from Nothing. If I were starting all over today, exactly how I would build wealth, starting with nothing. This is an interesting topic and it deserves serious attention because many people out there, you might be one of them, are starting from not a place of having resources to invest right now. And you might feel stuck. You're not making enough, you don't have enough to invest, you're in debt, wherever it is. And so today, no matter where you're starting from, I'm gonna help you see a world of possibility, and I'm gonna help you do this through my son Douglas's eyes. Now, what do I mean by this? My son Doug is 18. He's graduating high school here in the next couple of weeks, and he already is accepted to college, and he's getting ready to go into college. And we had a conversation the other night that just lit me up. It turned from a one simple question turned into a 2-hour discovery of opening up a brand new world of possibilities for this young man. So my son is getting ready to go into engineering. That's his career or his study of choice. And he's a little bit concerned based on how, what he's heard and what he's reading in the news, that he's gonna graduate 4 or 5 years from now, and he's not gonna make enough money. He's not gonna be able to buy a house. He's not gonna afford a car. He's not gonna be able to start off on, the foot that he wants, and he's not going to have enough money. And he started to question whether going to school is right for him or not. He knows that I am not a major proponent of school, but he wanted to know for him, is this something he should do? And we sat down and we talked through his personality. We talked about the things that he wants in life, and we both ultimately determined that going to school is likely going to be a good course of action for Doug. However, with this, we also came up with an opportunity to give him a challenge. What if he could graduate 4 or 5 years from now a millionaire? Now, consider this. My son has nothing. He has a couple $1,000s that he's saved up over the years from having worked, but what if he could go in and actually graduate college a millionaire? Now, here's the question that my son asked me that opened up the entire conversation. He said, "Dad, what would you do if you were me?" Now, I don't know about you. If you're a parent out there, this was the question that lit me up. Now, I wasn't expecting this question to come, but as soon as he asked me this question, my creative juices turned on. And we started talking about, if I were in your shoes, knowing what I know today, here's exactly how I would build wealth, starting with nothing. First off, we talked about what money is. Now, I'm not gonna go into that in this video, but more than anything, I want you guys to consider this. Money starts off as a mindset. If you have a scarcity-driven mindset, no matter what I say for you today, it's not gonna click. You're gonna find all of the reasons why it won't work. If you have a abundance-driven mindset, you're going to start to ask the questions of you're not gonna limit your potential by saying it's not gonna work for me, and you're going to instead ask the question of how can I make this work for me where I'm starting? So money, first and foremost, is a mindset. You must think wealthy in order to become wealthy. But if I were to start over tomorrow, the number one thing I would do is I would house hack. Now, you might not know what that is. What is house hacking? House hacking is using a very special provision in the real estate investing playbook that allows you to buy real estate with 95% of the purchase of that real estate coming from the bank and only a very small percentage coming from you, anywhere between 3.5% to 5%. But here's what makes real estate so powerful. If you were to buy a house and own it, over that 80-year time frame, it would have gone up 5.4% every single year. But if you were to buy that real estate, and let's say you put a 20% down payment, right? You decided to buy a home that you were going to live in, and you lived in that home for the next 80 years. That 5.4% increase in real estate value, because you only had to put 20% down, actually turns into a 27% annualized rate of return. Now let that sink in for just a minute. My friends, here's where it gets crazy, and here's where my son comes in. Now, if you were to only put 5% down as a down payment in buying that house, that 27% return would balloon all the way over to 100% rate of return. So my friends, I'm gonna walk you through 5 simple steps that I walked my son through, and on the next video, I'm going to give you all of the math to justify and support everything I'm going to say. So Doug is graduating high school this summer, and this summer I said, okay, Doug, if you wanted to commit yourself to being a millionaire or to being extremely wealthy by the time you graduate college, here's the first thing you're gonna do. You're going to start to think like a producer. You're going to figure out how to make money. Maybe that's a part-time job. Maybe you go back to doing woodworking and selling pens online and making money that way. But no matter what, you're going to make a commitment that you're going to earn between $15,000 and $20,000 this summer. You're going to continue to live in my home. right? I'm gonna continue to feed you, pay all of your expenses, and you're going to save every single penny of what you earn this summer. Now, again, you might be watching this video and say, how can I earn $15,000 or $20,000 over the summer? I promise you, my friends, there are several ways you can do that. You might drive Uber during the night, and you might work a full-time job during the day. You might find a way to sell things online. No matter what it is, you are going to find a way to create enough value to earn $15,000 to $20,000 and save every single penny. Step number two, with this savings, you are now going to turn around, and over the course of the summer, we are going to hunt for a discounted property near the college where you're going to live. Now, we're in Utah. My son is going to go to school in Utah. We went online and we started doing some searching over the next couple of days, and we found over 10 properties that were between the price point of $200,000 up to about $250,000. Some of these properties had 2 bedrooms, some of them had 3 bedrooms, okay? But they were all within a 10-mile distance of the school that my son is going to go to school in, and they could all be rented out. So every single one of them fit within the criteria that I wanted my son to consider. Now here's what he's going to do. He's going to take a 5% down payment. If he buys a $200,000 property and puts 5% down, his payment on a mortgage, including property taxes, private mortgage insurance, and those type of associated expenses, is gonna be about $1,500 a month. If he's able to buy a 3-bedroom home, he's going to live in the home as an owner occupant. That's what allows him to put in 5% down. And then during the time that he's living in this home, he's going to market to and advertise that renters can come and live in there. Now, the average price for a private bedroom in this college town that Doug's gonna be going to school in is about $900 to $1,000. So he could take 1 room and rent it out for $1,000. If he bought a 3-bedroom home, he could take 2 rooms and rent them out for $1,000. Or a more creative way, he could have 2 people live in each one of the rooms. He could discount the rent from $1,000 down to about $600, okay? And that means 2 people would live in 1 room, 2 more people would live in another room, and he might have a room to himself. More than likely, because he's house hacking, I'm going to invite him to have a roommate in that room as well. So if everyone coming into the property is renting out their room, Doug will have enough money to pay for all of his mortgage expense. Remember, it's about $1,500 a month. What that means is he's going to live in this property for the entire freshman year, his entire first year in college. He's going to rent the room and manage the property and the tenants involved in that. Now, what this means is all of Doug's mortgage and his rent is going to be completely covered by his ingenuity, by his house hacking. Now, during the time that he's renting out the house, we brainstormed a lot of creative ideas to increase the rents, to increase the demand, to entice people to come and live in his home versus the hundreds of other options in the area. Doug likes to cook. What if, as an opportunity, what if he advertised to parents of incoming students that every single week there would be a home cooked meal on Sundays or Saturdays, and ensure that all of the roommates that are living in the home have a way to feel like they're at home living in Doug's home? That might be a selling opportunity. The third one I think is a phenomenal idea. So many people have to leave their household pet to come to college. What if he offered his home to allow for pets? And that way all of the roommates coming in, they have an opportunity to have a friend away from their home. But all of these things will allow him to A, entice more people, B, potentially charge a higher interest rate, and C, be able to cover all of his mortgage expenses during the year that he's living there. Now, at the end of year number 1, he will have paid his mortgage, he will have put a little bit of money in the bank account, he will have had a lot of sweat equity, and at the end of year number 1, he'll have enough money saved up to be able to turn around and do it all over again. Now, there are some details with doing this. How is he going to qualify for a mortgage? He has to live in the house for a certain period of time, no less than a year. But as long as he follows all of the details and he goes to college for 4 or 5 years, if he jumps every single year, he could walk away from college having 5 rental homes. Now, on the next video, I'm gonna go through the math so you could see the wealth that is actually being created. But at the end of college, right, he'll now walk away with a $1 million real estate portfolio paid for 100% by the tenants that he rented it to. Now, is this going to be easy? Absolutely not. But consider this, Doug gets to choose his hard. You get to choose your hard. You can either deal with hard today and have it easy tomorrow, or you can deal with easy today and have it hard tomorrow. Most college kids today are starting so far behind because they're not willing to think outside of the box. My friends, as you're watching this, you might think to yourself, that's not possible in my area. Homes are more expensive, or they don't allow rents, or fill in the blank excuse. But my friends, here's the reality. One of the best things about real estate and one of the best things about life is creativity. When you get absolutely clear on what you want, then all you have to do is look at the series of obstacles in your way and realize and understand that those obstacles are what need to be solved to create the wealth that you ultimately want. So my friends, the opposite of this creative opportunity that I just presented you is the rat race. And this is the path that most people follow. It's the path that is taught in school. You wake up, you go to school, figure out how to get a job. As soon as you have a job, you make just enough money to go buy all the things that you think are going to make you happy but ultimately don't. This is the definition of entrapment. This is what the rat race is built on. And so for the next 20, 30, 40 years, you run that rat race year after year, decade after decade, thinking you're gonna get ahead, but that time to get ahead never actually comes. This is where I meet most people. They've been on that rat race roller coaster for the last 20, 30, 40 years of their life. What if you paused? And rather than following the conventional wisdom, what if you took a step back? And rather than doing average, what if you said, I'm meant for more in my life? And the opposite of average isn't a little bit better. The opposite of average is extraordinary. My friends, think like a producer, think creatively. Get very, very clear on what you want. Because once you are absolutely mentally and emotionally clear on what you want and committed to it, then I promise you there is a solution and a pathway to it. The obstacle is the way, my friend. My friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. What I want you to do now is I want you to watch video number 2, which is going to be the second part of this case study where I'm going to break down the numbers for you. Not just the theory, but the actual math of building wealth and becoming a millionaire while in college. My friends, you are here to learn how to master your money, how to take control over your money, and ultimately use money as a tool. There is more money and more opportunity in this world right here, right now, than has ever been in the history of this world. It's time for you to rise up and seize it. Take this video and do something with it.